Hello.
Can you hear this sound coming through?
I can hear the Christmas music and your voice.
The Christmas music. Okay, good. Perfect, thank you. Okay. I'm trying to share my sound through the computer this week to see if it makes it a little bit easier to hear. Anyways, welcome, Catherine. As folks get settled, all you'll need for tonight, hopefully you saw in the email, the plan for our practice. Really just need a mat, that's it. But if you would like to have a pillow, awesome, you have one. Perfect, that'll help out towards the end. I'll start to leave little optional props in our emails as well. Okay, get everyone checked in. And you guys get the best part. You just get to settle down, chill out. Okay, do we have Maureen here? Maureen? Looks like we do. Okay. Well, if we haven't had the pleasure of meeting yet, my name's Emily, and we have, oh, thank you, perfect. We have a really flexible practice on these Sunday evenings. So last week was very relaxed. This week is a little bit of movement at the beginning, kind of calming down towards the end. I don't know about you all, but definitely the time change always makes me a little bit more tired. It feels so late right now. So we'll get a nice chance to just really relax towards the end. Okay, so I think we'll get started here. Maybe give me a thumbs up. I can see Catherine. If music's level is okay. Okay, perfect. I can turn it up or down. And if you ever have trouble hearing me, little down. Okay, perfect. If you have trouble hearing me, then just feel free to put a quick note in the chat, but hopefully we'll be good to go. So let's just come to a comfortable seated position wherever you are. Of course, leaving your camera on or off is completely up to you, totally optional. All right. So settling into our space, just start to roll out your shoulders. Maybe give yourself a couple of neck circles, whatever you need to do to get rid of any tension, to arrive here in this space. So as I mentioned before, our practice tonight is Hatha inspired. A lot of us know hot Hatha classes. And tonight we're just focusing on the breath aspect of that practice. So none of those faster paced movements, just movements that feel really intuitive to the body, really familiar, and focusing always on the breath. So we begin tonight with a breath meditation, a seated meditation on the breath. As you arrive into this space, just start to notice the breath. Eyes can close, getting rid of all the other senses. With each exhale, can you let go of something that's not serving you? If you're breathing through your mouth, option to close the lips at the top of your breath. Hold for just a second and then exhale through your nose. Finding the sound of the ocean, that ujjayi breath, as we say. This breath helps to tune out all other distractions. It's harder to think about all the fleeting thoughts when the sound of the breath is the loudest thing you can hear in your ears. We've talked about amplifying our own voice, especially in a time when it may be different to have those conversations, those normal connections we have with others. Our voice might feel a little bit different. Maybe not necessarily in the timbre, but how we communicate with others. Tonight, all we're doing is amplifying our own voice through the breath. Continuing to breathe deeper, exhaling deeper each time. On your next exhale, release all of your air, let the low belly go. And then we begin a gentle 3-part inhale. Inhaling first through the low belly, traveling up the mid, back, through the ribs, all the way up to the top of the lungs, and then hold at the top. Exhale the same way you inhaled, top to bottom, this time reversing it out. We take 10 conscious rounds of this breath. Sounds like a lot, but this is the first devotion we have to this practice tonight. How can you make each breath a little deeper than the last? Sometimes we have to stay in places longer than we anticipated. Sometimes we have to stay in places longer than we anticipated. But we are still free to steady ourselves in the present, knowing that even in the stillness, we will grow how we were meant to. Using these breaths to grow in the stillness. You can still grow strong and steady here. still growing strong and steady, even if it's longer than you want it to be. Welcome to those joining. We are taking 3-part inhales, hold at the top, and exhale top to bottom. We root and ground ourselves before we can grow upwards with our asana. And we return to this rooted, grounded breath at the end of our practice. But the key isn't just the beginning and the end. The key is to practice this with every bit of our being so that we can tap into this anytime or all the time. Wherever you are in your breath cycles, take one final breath, deepest one yet. Exhale, send that breath to the heart space. Option to finish out your rounds if you haven't already, or hands come to heart center. We seal our intention for our practice right here. I offer the intention of finding the growth through the stillness, finding the growth through every moment, not only the easy ones, the fun ones, through the hard ones, through the sticky ones, through the painful ones. Our lessons might not always be the same in every moment, but there's something to be gained. Tonight we search for that. Maybe we find some bit of it. Maybe we just search. We seal our intention with one breath. Option 2, hum with the exhale, inviting an om into your space, or just sealing the intention with the breath. Big inhale, deepest one you've had all evening, all day. And exhale, send that intention straight to the heart space. Let it live there. Gently fluttering open your eyes. We're going to begin our practice with a happy baby, starting with an inversion tonight. Just really stretching out the spine, rocking from side to side. So wherever you are in your space, just come onto your back, maybe rolling onto your back. Now right away, knees come up, option to grab behind your legs, maybe reach for something, or if you can grab the feet, if that's accessible to you, grab the outsides of the feet and pull down gently. Now goal here is for our knees to come into the armpits. You can do that by pulling down with the arms, or if you'd like to take more of a restorative or relaxing option, just allow the weight of gravity to pull the knees down. We stay here for about a minute. Option to windshield wiper your legs or rock from side to side if that feels good, massaging the low back. Or come to stillness in the center. And just notice what happens to the body when we stay here a little bit longer than we might be used to. Feeling the compression in the hips, maybe the low belly, but simultaneously the length through the spine. 3 more breath cycles here. Continuing to find that breath, making it the loudest voice in the room, louder than mine. And coming to stillness in the center, knees are gonna fall down, feet touch the mat. Very gently, just start to windshield wiper your legs. This time, knees are moving. Arms just come out. Let this motion start to ripple larger. So knees may be coming all the way onto the mat if that's accessible. Whatever feels intuitive to the body, not forcing, just inviting this movement to grow bigger. Tonight we find release through movement. Couple more each side. Then we come to stillness in the center here. Knees just knock together, legs or feet are about hip width apart. I find this is a great way to open up the tailbone area, lower bit of the spine, the last vertebrae. Also a good check to see if your tailbone has tucked. If it has, just scoop it under, really lengthen through the back. Allowing the weight of gravity to release the hip area here. One more breath. One more exhale. Very slowly. Just turn to one side and press yourself up. We're coming into a counter pose. For the happy baby, we're coming right into a child's pose. So knees again come out wide. This time toes come to touch, kind of the reverse of what we just did. Arms walk long in front of you. Tailbone sends back. See if you can rest your forehead on the mat. Really pushing through the arms, the fingertips. As you continue to breathe in this posture, in the breath travel to the back, feeling the back expand and contract. Breath is fluid, breath is movement, and this practice is all about finding where the breath lives. Instead of just allowing the breath to be smaller, we find where it can travel and then grow. Take one more breath in your child's pose. And then very gently start to press yourself up. Hands are gonna come right underneath of the shoulders. Knees come a little bit more narrow. We're coming into some cat-cows here. Option for toes to be tucked underneath if that provides more stability, or they can go straight flat on the mat, allowing a little bit more stabilization through the core. Now from here, we inhale, scoop the low belly down, gaze shifts up. And exhale, round through the spine, tucking the low belly in, head and neck drop. Inhale, find your cat pose, really curving the spine. Tailbone finds a J shape. And then exhale, reverse that motion. We're going to take quite a few here to really start to ripple through the spine. Again, allow this motion to grow bigger every time. But do be careful, it's easy to push a little too far, especially in your cat pose. So know the difference. between growth and pain. We say no to pain, we say yes to growth when we are ready for it. You open up your spine for growth, for length. And can you let go of any bit of ego that says it needs to be deeper or bigger or bolder? Because that often leads to pain. Take 3 more rounds all the way through. After your last round hold in center, we're coming up for one nice big downward facing dog. So rather than pressing your hips back, shooting back into this one, take your time. Really feel your way into it. Toes tuck, knees start to hover. Inhale and exhale, send your hips high. The slower the better. Feet are 6 inches apart, toes on the mat, heels are reaching for the mat. But they never quite get there because your tailbone is being pulled up as if someone was lifting you from the hips. Really feeling that lift rather than a push through the arms. Hold here for 3 more breath cycles. Can you spiral the shoulders down and back? Can the thumbs and first fingers spiral in? Add any pedal through the legs if that feels good to you. Maybe holding on one side just a little longer and then switch to the other. All about rippling the movement here. After your last breath, gently come down onto your knees. We're coming over into a seated forward fold position, really just a seated position here. Go ahead and move any flesh out of the way if you need to. We're coming into some half sun A's here, but on the mat. So we inhale, arms lift overhead, just like the beginning of a sun salutation. And exhale, send your body forward, reach for the toes. Inhale, halfway lift, we find that straight spine. Exhale, fold again. Inhale, arms all the way up. And exhale, pull them down through heart center. So now you know where we're going. Option, if you'd like to bend your knees, you can do this in a butterfly position, wide leg. Or you can send your legs wide if you'd like to take a wide angle. If you take this option, just watch that the knees and the feet don't curve in. We definitely want them spiraled open. I'll be here. We take 5 rounds of these. 1 breath, 1 movement, I'll guide you through. Just enter into that meditative state with the breath. Inhale, arms rise overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, spine lengthens. Exhale, fold. Inhale, scoop all the way back up, maybe back bend at the top. Exhale to heart center. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way back up, arms overhead. Exhale through heart center. Inhale, arms rise overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold even deeper, ripple that motion larger. Inhale, rise all the way back up. Exhale, pull your hands down through heart center. 2 more rounds. Inhale, arms rise overhead. Exhale, big forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, spine lengthens. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, scoop all the way back up. Exhale, pull down through heart center. Last one. Inhale, arms rise overhead. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift, spine lengthens. And exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way back up. And exhale, pull your hands through heart center. Hold here. Feel that energy. Feel that life. That vibration that the breath creates. One more breath. One more exhale. Gently shift your knees over to one side. We're coming into a wide-legged crouch position or a Malasana squat. So if Malasana with the knees facing outwards is not feeling good tonight, you can come into a crouched position with both knees inside the elbows, or you can come into a wider one, kind of pressing yourself down onto the earth. I'm going to come into a Malasana squat here, using my elbows to press open my legs or my knees. Again, spine lengthens, energy shoots through the crown of the head. Allow that length to transfer these deep breaths to the back. One more breath here. I'm finding nice neck stretches on the other side. Always a sore spot for me. After your last exhale, plant the hands. Send the hips high to the sky. Maybe toe heel the feet out just a little bit. We're finding a wide-legged Prasarita stretch here. Maybe melt over to one side. Option to maybe even bend that knee, stretching through the inner thigh on the opposite side. If you'd like to add a layer, feel free to plant one hand, an option for other hand to twist up, or find a half bind. The top hand circling around, finding the opposite hip crease. Take whatever variation is best for this side, for your body tonight. And if you've gone to one side, go ahead and switch over to the other. If you're in the center, just hold there. Now from here, hands stay planted on the earth, just right underneath of the shoulder heads. Legs are gonna walk back to a wide-legged plank. So legs should be wider than our hands. A little bit interesting here. We're just warming up, working a little bit of the core before we start to wind down. Now, in this pose, make sure that the toes are not turned in. They are still parallel on railroad tracks. We hold here. Option to add a little knee bend and extend. If the wide stance is not feeling good in your obliques or maybe even your knees, go ahead and narrow, just coming to that high plank. Working more of the center of the core here. Little knee bends, extend. Couple more here. And then we hold in stillness for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Knees widen. We send our hips back for another child's pose. Let it go. Gently come on up. We're coming to the peak of our practice here. We're coming up to a standing position. So however you'd like to get there, plant your feet in the earth. Gently roll yourself all the way up. Coming to a nice mountain pose at the top. Beautiful. We are finding one balancing variation here, using all of that stretching we've worked on, using that breath that we've cultivated so much. Now we're just taking a standing forehead to knee pose. If you already know your way into this, go ahead and find yourself there. If you'd like to join me, place all your weight in your left foot. Allow the right foot to come up to toes. Now, using the core that we just turned on, start to lift that right knee, coming up. Should be about 90 degrees here. Still pressing into the left leg. Now, option to grab around the outside of the right knee. If you're doing that, still strengthen and lengthen yourself. Strengthen. Anyways, straightening through the spine. Maybe you start to walk your hands down, grabbing the outside and the inside of the right foot. You can stay here and breathe, or you can use your breath, using the exhale to press the front leg out right in front of you. Holding here. If you find that balance point, maybe you start to bend the elbows, allowing the forehead to come down. Now, if you need to come out of any bit of this pose, any variation, just let yourself go. Maybe take a couple of rocks side to side. It can be a lot of strain on the back. Important to release it. I should say we don't want that strain, but sometimes it happens, and we just let it go. If you're in your posture, we have one final breath cycle here. We hold for 3, 2, and 1. Now very gently start to bend your knee. You're turning that foot to the earth. Take one big inhale. And huge forward fold. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, start to roll yourself all the way back up to standing. Roll the shoulders down and back. We come to the other side. Inhale, maybe your left toes start to hover. Maybe you start to grab around the left knee, or just bringing the left knee to tabletop. Any point in this progression is a wonderful place to stay. You can stay right here, working on the balance, finding something to stare at in front of you, a drishti point. Or you can try and see how far you can go on this side, knowing that both sides can be completely different, and that's okay. Maybe you start to walk your hands down. Maybe you start to press through the standing leg, start to kick the front foot out, holding there. Again, if you fall out, just come and allow your spine to circle right and left. Holding and breathing here. We have one final breath cycle. And exhale, reverse yourself out how you came into it. One huge inhale. And one more forward fold. Option to take this one out a little bit wider. Maybe walking your feet closer together. We're coming down into that low crouch that was an option before. But really stretching out through the top of our spine, maybe even getting into the top of your neck, letting the head and neck go. Really just starting to close down after we stretched out and lengthen. Feel that long line from the top of your head curving all the way down to the base of your tailbone. If you joined us last week, add that spinal breath. Seeing if you can inhale all the way down the spine, exhale all the way up the spine. Last breath. And last exhale very gently. Just start to brace yourself so you can put your tailbone on the earth. Knees come out in front. We're coming into one extended seated forward fold here. Now, if you've done a lot of these forward folds and the hamstrings are starting to fatigue, now might be a time where you access your pillow. You can place it right on the top of your legs, and it'll allow something to rest into as you fold. This will be a lighter option, but one where you can still find length, still working to find the growth through the stillness. Or you can take just a regular seated forward fold. We'll be here for a minute, 6 breath cycles. Inhale, arms rise overhead. Exhale, fold, find your lowest point. More rounds of breath here. Deepening with each inhale, lengthening with each exhale. After your last breath, gently start to press yourself up. Remove the pillow if you have it on your knees or your legs, and swing your legs around. we are coming into a seated twist. Option to add the pillow if you'd like. I'll show you both options. If you have a pillow or a bolster, you're gonna come with one hip all the way up to the side of the bolster and gently start to twist your torso so that you're laying flat facing front and allowing this twist to access the low back. If you do not have a bolster or a pillow available, that is totally fine. Come into your favorite option of a reclined twist. So that can be a figure 4 one, it can be eagle legs, or you can just have both knees together. You're on your back, knees are up, arms out to a T, and just rock them over to one side. Option for gaze to shift to the other. Again, we'll be here for a little while. So settle into this pose. We spend longer in these postures. Release. Because the more time you spend in these postures is the only way to access these muscles. Sometimes we can't force it. We just have to be. We just have to be with that sensation longer than we'd like to. But we find growth all the same. Allowing the breath to deepen into the back of the lungs, feeling the front belly expand, the shoulder blades expand and then contract. Find the ripple in this motion. Allow each one to grow a centimeter, a millimeter. Repeating the sound of the ocean to the ears to reassure yourself that you are on the right path. Amplifying that voice. We find 3 more rounds of breath on this side. After your last round of breath, very gently start to press yourself back up if you're on your pillow, or back through center if you're on your back. Now we have a clearing option in the middle. Either we come down to basic relaxation pose, which is about as basic as it sounds, just the bolster or pillow being lengthwise on the mat here, or parallel with the short end. And knees come over top. We just send our torso back, helps to release the spine. If you are on your back, option to find a brief Shavasana, or to take that knock-knee position again. Knees are wide, or feet are wide rather, knees turn in. It'll help to release the low back as well. Option to take something else. If neither of these postures are serving you, do what is best for your body. But I say suggest finding something to release the spine, the low back. Deepening the breath, continuing to focus all of our attention on that ripple. Can you inhale down the spine? Can you exhale up through the crown of the head? One more breath cycle here. One more exhale. Now very gently start to press yourself back up, using your hands rather than jerking a quick motion. And we're coming over to the other side. So if you're on your back without a prop, just turn to the other side, knees fall over in whichever variation you'd like. If you have your pillow, either you move or the pillow moves to the other side. Pillow comes right up against the opposite hip. Knees can be bent or go long on your mat. When we start to twist our torso to lay over the pillow. As we say with every posture, both sides do not have to be the same. So if you find something on this side, even that's touching close to pain, do something different. Release the legs, send one of them long, send both of them long. Something different. Finding the growth in the stillness here, knowing that every moment is worthy of your time. If your brain starts to think about everything that is next, all the things you have left to do, just allow those little thoughts to come into a bubble and pop the bubble, just let it go. Knowing that time spent consciously relaxing, letting go, deepening the breath is better than hours and hours of distraction. This is where the work is done. Take 3 more inhales here. 3 more deepening exhales. After your last breath, gently start to press yourself up if you have a pillow, Or bring both knees through center if you're on your back. Option to take a brief counter pose or a clearing pose, sending both legs along, or knocking the knees together again. Before we find our final resting place. Feel free to use the pillow or bolster however you'd like, maybe sitting in beneath the knees, maybe laying down over top of the pillow, sending it beneath the tailbone, whatever serves you, or going without it and just laying flat on it. Once you get there, roll the shoulders down and back. Start to deepen the breath even more. We continue to meditate on the breath. We continue to grow strong and steady here. I offer a brief meditation followed by silence, invoking the imagery of trees to allow ourselves to grow. One thing that you and I have in common with trees is that beneath the surface, far beyond what we can see, at the root we are connected. One thing we don't have in common with trees is that unlike the steady trunks of the big oaks, we are free to move about. We are free to roam the earth however we choose. However, as beneficial as this can be, sometimes that freedom and ability to just get up and go also causes us to feel more alone. Have you ever had that feeling of getting up and going somewhere new, somewhere you've never been? As you go out into the open road, or as you hop on the plane, there's this sense of renewal, of starting over. And then as the hours, days, weeks, or even years go by, we find that feeling of newness is not sustainable. As much as going somewhere new awakens something in us, we realize that maybe it's not just the act of going somewhere new that sets us free, but also the moments where we realize we are free to know peace right where we are. Now, there certainly are new places and spaces that definitely make us feel this way. But oftentimes, it's when we settle into that place, and when that place becomes home, and when we feel grounded, that suddenly we can take that breath of fresh air. We put down roots, as the old saying says. I just want to remind you that if there's something in your life that is calling you to put down roots and to stay grounded, embrace it. There explore something new. And there are also times where you can dig your heels into the soil right beneath you. In a busy world, it can be hard to remember this. Sometimes we have to stay in places a little longer than we anticipated. But we are still free to steady ourselves in the present, knowing that even in the stillness, we will grow how we were meant to. In the same way that trees stretch upward toward the light, we can trust that we are still directed. This doesn't mean that we need to stay in places or situations where we are not safe. There is no shame, and it is absolutely necessary that we seek help if we are not safe in any way. What I'm talking about here are those places where things are just okay. They're not great. They're not exciting. I'm talking about those spaces where we're tired of the lull. The boredom of driving through, passing by the same places, the same streets every day. It's in those moments we can look to the nearest tree and let that tree remind us we're not alone. In our stillness for whatever is calling us to stay here right now for a little while. We're not the only one living in this stillness right now. Rooted and grounded, we can still grow strong and steady here. Rooted and grounded, our leaves can still blow gently in the morning wind, and our limbs can still stretch upward toward the light. End our practice with one breath to seal this space, the energy that we've cultivated, even in this format. It's digital space. I'll leave you tonight in Shavasana. Stay here as long as you like. We take one final breath together as one. Inhale, deep, deep inhale, all of your air. Hold at the top. And exhale, send that breath to the heart space. Let the energy live there. to you, we vow to each other, honoring this time, this practice. Thank you for spending your evening with us. We are honored by your presence. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. I'm here. Hope to see you again next week. Have a beautiful evening and a wonderful weekend. Thank you. Thank you all. Have a beautiful night.